Up, my name's Shaq. Shaquille O'Neal. I'm here to present you with new reality entertainment's and its latest venture to the WrestleVerse. And I know that was a terrible impression. So, Shaquille O'Neal and Jade Cargill taking on the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and Red Velvet. Originally was going to be Brandy Rhodes, however, that she's expecting. And oh man, this was hyped up since November. After Full Gear, after Cody Rhodes lost the TNT title to Darby Allin in a tremendous fight, which finally gave Darby Allin the victory he had been looking for, or Cody came out on the next Dynamite afterwards to not only congratulate Darby Allin, but bring up how what he's going to go for next. But then all of a sudden, Jade Cargill shows up, and rather that should be, and it was rather unfamiliar for her to show up there since she had never shown up. But Jade Cargill had showed up, and like many others, had been waiting for an opportunity within AEW, but apparently got tired of being patient. Decided that Cody's time was now her time. Not only it was her time, but it was also the right time to drop another name down to the American Nightmare's head. And when he went ahead and said that he was the Giant Killer, she proclaimed there was only one giant, and that this giant is a star, Shaq. And that's when you were like, wait, Shaquille O'Neal's coming to AEW and they're finally going to do a match with him? And then Big Show signed with AEW, so now you're already thinking Big Show versus Shaquille O'Neal is finally happening after WWE failed to deliver on that. So, yeah, he had written that back in August that Shaquille O'Neal said, "I love to fight Cody, write it, print it, text it to him, call AEW up and tell them." And sure enough, now, normally you would hear the whole celebrity inserts wants to fight a insert name here at a wrestling event, and it's like it never falls through because scheduling conflicts or WWE is just like, yeah, we don't need those celebrities. They're demanding too much. By the way, Rock, do you want to come back and fight Roman Reigns? So yeah, and Shaquille O'Neal showed up on Dynamite one time, and after Brandy Rhodes got pissed off and was beaten down by her, he went ahead and Shaquille O'Neal tried to, bridge the gap between them. Sit down interview with Tony Schiavone and Brandy. Suffice to say, the NBA All Star ended up pissing Brandy off, and Brandy got expected to have a kid. Congrats, Cody. And sure enough, Red Velvet would take her place. Because of her association with Brandy. So at least there's a logical explanation. And she ended up being a victim of an attack by Cargill as well, and it was very clear that Jay would just keep pushing until she got what he wanted. She wanted a match in AEW, and she clearly wanted to involve the Rhodes family in some form. And Jade would not be able to get what she wanted, at least not out of Brandy Rhodes, because they're having a kid. Oh, the generations of tomorrow. I feel sorry for that kid. So, what's the best way to go with Brandy out of the picture? Jay went ahead and tried to push Cody into a match to have how that played out in the waiting room by Britt Baker, which led to a disastrous moment with Red Velvet, who was given the reception by a journalist group saying that, oh, that's Brandy Rhodes. And I was like, okay, so from a far distance, maybe you can make that idea. But it was like, that's not Brandy Rhodes. That's clearly someone else. That's Red Velvet. And yeah, Brandy even called this group out for it. And wow, that was not a good day for them. I'm like, it's not the worst thing a journalist group did. I'm like, the worst they could have done is spread a conspiracy theory about someone who died recently and blame it on COVID because COVID's a thing and we need to exploit that for all we can. Ain't that right, Bruce? So it would be decided by Shaquille O'Neal that yes, he will fight Cody Rhodes, but instead of it happening at Revolution, it's going to happen on the Dynamite before Revolution because Shaquille O'Neal has a scheduling conflict for Revolution. As such, he can't do the match there, which was pretty interesting. And they touted this being a big time matchup for months and months and months, and they're not even going to save this for pay per view. Like, granted, they could easily have moved it to Saturday night, but I'm pretty sure they had other plans. But yeah, the fact that they didn't do that was interesting. But sure enough, Brandy was out of the picture with Red Velvet taking her place. Ace to assist Cody in the war against Shaquille O'Neal and Jade Cargill. And sure enough, it was madness. It was insanity. This was wrestling. I'm sorry, I had to do that. Oh man, I'm pretty sure I'm pissing out the Spartan fans for daring to compare their beloved movie with fake wrestling. Because, Avengers Endgame was a real event in the real world. No offense, hopefully. So, sure enough, all this came piling about to this matchup. Shaquille O'Neal, Jade Cargill, Cody Rhodes, and Red Velvet. And shocking of all, instead of it being the closing match, because I kind of honestly expected that, like, okay, they're not gonna have it be a part of Revolution, so they have to have a main event. Nope, they said, nope, we're gonna have them open the show, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. But then I realized AEW was probably banking on this idea, which would probably be risky, because you just gave away what many non-wrestling fans want to see, and that who probably tuned in to watch Shaquille O'Neal, but they would have to wait 2 hours just to get it. Now it's told, oh, here's the match. Oh, we're gonna have all this other stuff, so if you want to stick around, you can hang out with us. It's also risky because now it's like, well, they probably don't care if this other stuff because hey, it's not Shaquille O'Neal. And sure enough, Shaquille O'Neal kind of shot himself in the foot, which I thought was dumb when he said, "Oh, this is going to be the greatest celebrity matchup you ever seen," and I was like, "You shouldn't have said that, man," because now people are going to make that comparison. It has that, and then they announced that this was, and I watched it. This was commercial free. Oh my god, I'm pretty sure the women matches are like, no, why did you give them a commercial free opportunity? Yeah, this match was completely commercial free, and I understand. And right around the way, I immediately was thinking when we saw the first 60 or so seconds, probably 2 minutes, yeah, this is going to end up crazy. Because Shaquille O'Neal wants to impersonate Walter with his chops because Cody looked like he was when he got shot to the chest. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna end up like Kofi Kingston's chest at the end of all of this. So yeah, Shaquille O'Neal actually did pretty okay in my part. Like this was a tag team match. Clearly, this was to protect Shaquille O'Neal and also help Jade Cargill because she's incredibly green and she has the athleticism, but the wrestling spirit, like Cody brought up on the media call, which I don't want to talk about as much, but he brought this up. Red Velvet has a bit more experience than Jade Cargill, and Cody Rhodes has more experience than everyone. So it's understandable that they would go that route. But Cody and Shaquille O'Neal just were tearing the house down. Like every time we saw Cargill and Ravello, I was like, okay, this is pretty good. But can we go back to these two right now? I want to see them kick the crap out of each other. And then everyone noticed, and a lot of people started to notice something about Shaquille O'Neal and what specific moment he pulled. He does this and power bombs Cody, and I was thinking, that power bomb looked very familiar. The taunt, what was it? And then and then when I looked it up, I was like, Brody Lee, Brody Lee, Brody Lee, and everyone praised him for tributing Brody Lee. Yeah, yes. Because we have to cry remembering Brody Lee's tragic passing. And someone even joked saying all Shaq slander is suspended for 90 days for this Brody Lee tribute. And I believe a person I know on Twitter actually got notified by Wrestling Inc. Oh, by the way, you're famous now. Oh, and one of my people I do follow is actually on there. Can you feel your thoughts, anyone? So, where he said, celebs aren't bad for wrestling, at least not the celebs like Shaq who respect a business like this. Love this Brody Lee tribute. Respect. So, this. Okay, so it wasn't going to be like a 5-star classic. I was just hoping for a good quality matchup between two performers with incredibly green talent. And sure enough, that's what I got. Shaquille O'Neal and Jade Cargill went ahead and helped produce a good matchup with the experienced veteran like Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet. And big moment happened when Shaquille O'Neal goes ahead and gets slammed into two tables with Cody. And then the shocking moment of all was that Jade Cargill defeats Red Velvet. And I was thinking, wow, the celebrity won. I mean, like, he didn't get the pin, but his team won. Oh, man. So Jade Cargill gets the victory for Team Shaquille O'Neal and Cargill over Red Velvet and Cody Rhodes. Now it's like, where did they take this next? Because they did do something rather weird. So after Shaquille O'Neal was taken down into the tables, in the same table spot, which, got praise from McFoley, yes. He goes ahead, and Pat McAfee says Shaq killed it, probably literally, and he's unconscious. The doctors take him to the ambulance, and they actually will say hospital. Isn't that right, WWE, with your local medical facilities? And then, for some reason, they cut back to Tony Schiavone trying to get word on his updates, and then they realize he has disappeared. Wait, what? Okay, so this is the thing. I want to laugh. I'm laughing, but it's also kind of insane because here's the thing I want to bring up. I could imagine WWE pulling the massive giant disappearing. They somehow made Kevin Nash a ninja at one point in 2011. But why did AEW do this? Like, they never show him back throughout the rest of the episode, so he never comes back, and you would suspect Paul Wright would show up and like bring up Shaquille O'Neal. But no, that doesn't happen. And instead you're like, oh god, what just happened here? So that happened. I'm confused to no end. We never got an answer. It was like, if this was WWE, I could be accepting of this. But as far as I'm completely aware of, and this even includes the Dark Order, no one in AEW's roster have supernatural powers. Because, no, the Dark Order is a zealot cult dedicated to Brody Lee, who turned face in the wake of his passing, and it basically decreed him the eternal leader in spirit. Whereas there's no Bray Wyatt to do the teleportation trick. You kind of can use Matt Hardy, but he probably is not even affiliated with this. Like, if they want to do that. But I just think, why did you do the disappearing act? Like, and how did no one find him? Like, he's not a ninja. Oh god, I just have to accept that. Apparently, like, if this was WWE, like I said, I would have bought that more because you have Bray Wyatt, you had a roster with The Undertaker and Kane, so I could believe you have someone there with supernatural powers, and someone could say, well, what about Bandon? So she's not magic, more like she's a Kabbalist who's also believing in vampiric ideology, and she's in the cult. So we could go with that logic, but she doesn't have powers or anything. She's just a fan of vampirism and a cannibalist in character. So, yeah, I don't know where they're going to go with Shaquille O'Neal going forward down the road. I kind of do see Big Show, Paul White, going ahead and fighting Shaquille O'Neal finally after, like, how many years of building this up but never doing it? And then AEW finally could tell to WWE, hey, we got Shaquille O'Neal wrestle for us before you guys. And you had him several times. You only had him for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and then get instantly eliminated. So, yeah. It was a weird night on that last bit. So it started off really awesome, goes crazy with the bump, and then it just ends wait, what just happened? But that was then. We're in the now, and let's close this off, everyone. This is Neo Reality Entertainment presenting the WrestleVerse. Shaquille O'Neal and Jade Cargill taking on the combined alliance of Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet. Ice cream. Yeah, I had to make a food pun out of this. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, check out my content in the description below. Stay tuned to see more. And just for added bonus, I have published a new video on my Neo Reality Entertainment channel. We got chapter 2, everyone. Go check that out. Stay tuned for more. I'll see y'all next time. Peace and take care.